Thank you so much for watching Landumc Goes There. Please subscribe and hit the like button and the bell notification button. The Misfits is a 1961 American contemporary Western film that was penned by Arthur Miller. It was directed by John Huston, and it features performances by Clark Gable, Marilyn Monroe, and Montgomery Clift. The movie also includes notable supporting roles by Thelma Ritter and Eli Wallach. The project is an adaptation of Miller's own short story, which was published in Esquire magazine in October of 1957. The movie marked the final completed film for both Clark Gable and Marilyn Monroe. Gable's passing occurred 3 months prior to the film's premiere, while Monroe passed away in August of 1962, more than a year after the film's debut. The project was a complete commercial failure at the time of its initial release, but received critical acclaim for its script and performances. Its reputation has really shifted quite a bit over the years, and many critics now consider the film to be a masterpiece and one of the best movies of the 1960s. The storyline goes that while filing for a divorce, beautiful ex-stripper Rosalind Tabor, played by Marilyn Monroe, ends up meeting an aging cowboy turned gambler named Gay Langland, who's played by Clark Gable, and his friend, a former World War II pilot named Guido, played by Eli Wallach. These two men instantly become infatuated with Rosalind, and on a whim, the three decide to move into Guido's half-finished desert home together. When ex-rodeo rider Pierce Howland, played by Montgomery Clift, arrives, the unlikely foursome strike up a business capturing wild horses for sale and slaughter. The production overall was really troublesome on several accounts, not the least of which was the temperatures there, around 100 degrees in the northern Nevada desert. Adding to the troubles was the breakdown of Monroe's marriage to writer Arthur Miller. With Marilyn being really troubled by this marriage falling apart by the screenwriter, she began to drink heavily at work and also abusing prescription drugs. It was during the making of this film that director John Huston realized that Marilyn herself was doomed. She even had real trouble completing some of her scenes, and at one point, production was stopped for her to go to the hospital for a couple of weeks. It said that Marilyn was always nearly an hour late to the set every day, sometimes not even showing up at all. Clark Gable insisted on doing some of his own stunts, but not the scene of being dragged 400 feet across the dry lake bed at more than 30 miles an hour. And most of the shots with the Mustangs were not done by him at all either. It was just too dangerous of a situation with these huge horses. During the filming of these scenes is one of the few times that Clark Gable actually blew up on the set. And that was because the director, John Huston, insisted on another take after Gable's stunt double had been injured in the previous shot. Gable just walked off the set in disgust. The rumor goes that on the very last day of filming, Clark Gable said about working with Marilyn Monroe, "I'm really glad this thing is finished. She damn near gave me a heart attack." The very following day, Gable did suffer a massive heart attack and died 10 days later at the age of 59. Marilyn was completely terrified at the thought of working with Clark Gable. You see, as a child growing up in foster homes with a single mother. She had slept with his picture under her pillow and fantasized that he was her father. The night before their first scene together, she couldn't sleep at all without a large dose of Nebutol, the sleeping pill. As a result of this, she was 2 hours late getting to the set. When she got there, she quickly apologized to Gable. Not only was Marilyn usually late, John Huston, the director, was also one to not show up on time because he would spend all night gambling. But Clark Gable just took it all in stride. He was ready when they called for him, and he didn't let everybody's tardiness upset him. And one of the reasons that it really kind of made him happy was that he got paid $6,500 a day extra every day that the film ran behind schedule. It's also said that he went on a crash diet prior to shooting, trying to lose, and did lose, about 35 pounds. And one of the reasons that he tried to get in better physical shape was because the insurance company wouldn't insure him for the film. He flunked the first physical. He later passed the second one after stopping smoking and drinking for about a week. He celebrated passing this test on the second attempt with a bottle of brandy and a large cigar. Now, during the scene between Marilyn and Clark Gable, Gable walks into the bedroom and he kisses Monroe on the neck while she sleeps nude under the covers. He then leaves the room. In the final edit, she gets up, puts on her blouse while keeping the covers over her body. However, during filming, she decided to drop the covers, exposing her nude body to the crew and the camera, which shocked everyone. Director John Huston insisted on a retake. He felt it was totally unnecessary for the scene. Although the audiences would have been pleased to see it, the censors would have had a fit. They tried numerous reshoots, and Marilyn kept dropping the sheet each time, and Huston grew frustrated with her, emphatically reminding her to keep covered up. This risque footage that was shot during that time was thought to be destroyed, but it actually wasn't. It was salvaged by producer Frank Taylor, whose son Curtis Taylor has kept it locked away since 1999. Go back and take a look at this John Huston film. It's not one of my favorites, but it's well worth watching just because of the stars that are in it. And one that I barely have mentioned was Thelma Ritter, and she just commands the screen. It's worth watching just to see her performance. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll continue to chase the classics.